Anakin, whatever I do it to protect you. So you understand?
I understand.
So we just saw Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Now, I may have to see the movie again because I don't know if it was the movie or it was just me, but I was trying. I kept wanting to go to sleep, and I'm hoping it wasn't the movie, and that I was just it was just a wrong time of day because we saw it at 11 a.m. and we figured that would not be too early in the morning, not too late at night, but there were parts that I was just trying to fight sleep and trying to keep myself awake, and I'm hoping it wasn't the movie. So I'm at this, my opinion may change after another viewing.
Would you say you were having difficulty sleeping through the whole thing? Or just like at a certain point it started?
No, and just in certain parts.
Because for the first 30 minutes I had difficulty staying awake, but then after probably about 30 minutes I had no problems.
No. It was maybe there were several points in the movie that I was having difficulty staying awake.
Okay.
And I don't know why, but my mind kept wandering during the movie. And I'm really hoping it's not because of the movie. I really have to see the movie again, see Rogue One again.
I'm hoping it was just Forrest Whitaker.
Well, he wasn't on that long. But, yeah, I just kept thinking about other things. And usually that's a sign I'm not really invested in the movie. And that, that kind of bums me out. Because does that mean I didn't really enjoy the movie? I don't know. I think being a real Star Wars fan like me, I'm trying to fight that thought that I didn't enjoy it.
Because I enjoyed it.
I'm trying to...
I know I enjoyed it.
Because, like I said, my mind wavered. I was falling asleep a few times. And, if that's a sign that I wasn't enjoying the movie, I'm trying to fight it. Because I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So that's why I need to see it again. But, that being said, about the movie.
You want to get out of here?
Our rebellion is all that remains to push back the Empire. We think you might be able to help us.
When was the last time you were in contact with your father?
What is this? It appears he is critical to the development of a super weapon.
Now, the story is not... It's not surprising story, because we know it's a story about the team getting the Death Star plans. I knew that part. I knew what that was all about when going in.
So we knew what the ending had to be.
And so, I don't know, maybe that was part of the problem, is because...
It's not an original story.
Well, it's not that it's an original story, it's no real suspense. Because we know they have to get the Death Star plans.
See, and
there's no way that they're going to fail.
This is something that is still very different than you and I. I can watch something that I know the ending to, so what I know the ending, there's still the entire journey that I can enjoy.
Right, but that goes to any time you rewatch a movie. You already know what's going to happen.
Yeah, but the difference between rewatching a movie is that you've already seen it, so you already know the journey.
Right.
This time, you still don't know the journey, so you still have that discovery.
I'm just saying that every time they got into some kind of predicament, I'm not saying the journey was bad. I'm just saying every time there was some kind of predicament, I knew, well, they're not going to fail because they have to get the Death Star plans. That was the thing, is, every time it was like, oh, but I don't know if I was surprised. Okay, by the way, spoilers.
Yay, finally you said it.
I don't know if... I guess I kind of expected it, but I don't know if I'm surprised that all the characters died.
See, that was surprising to me. I
Yeah.
did not expect them all to die. So that to me was the end of the journey. They've all died. We knew that the end part, the plans, that was New Hope.
The Death Star plans, yeah.
But the end of the journey, the real end, is everybody dies.
Yeah. That kind of, I don't know, that I guess I half expected them to escape. I don't know. I guess my expectation was that they were going to escape, but then as I started seeing that each character fall, I thought, oh, okay, so it's this kind of movie is all. It's like the what movie is like? It's like what movie was it? Like it's like Battle Beyond the Stars. Remember that cheesy 80s Star Wars ripoff? It's like Battle Beyond the Stars, where this team get together to destroy a bad guy. This group of people destroy a bad guy, but as they're fighting, each member of the team get killed, basically. So that's what I was thinking of. Like, oh, okay, so it's this type of story. These people get together, and they try to fight the evil, and then they all die.
I didn't expect them all to die, but as I thought about it as the movie was progressing, I realized that they needed to, because we never hear from them in the next
These
movies.
characters, right?
So they needed. It's like if they were a part of this, if they had been in that facility and had access to it, and she being the daughter of the guy who designed the Death Star, you kind of felt the need that if she'd been alive, she would have been part of councils.
Yeah.
And so, since she wasn't, she could not make it.
Yeah.
So by the end, I wasn't surprised. I still hoped for it. But I wasn't surprised. I had some philosophical problems with the movie. Most of the Star Wars movies, there is a clear delineation. The rebels are the good guys. They do the right thing. And the Empire are the bad guys, and they, of course, do the wrong thing. And so when you had the one commander telling the assassin to kill her father, I kept thinking that's just, that to me was problematic. I think they really addressed that though finally in the end, but through the movie I kept having this problem, like, how can I be behind the rebels when they're willing to use any and all tactics to get what they want? That puts them just as morally questionable as the Empire. And that was the first time I think we've seen that. I know we were told this was going to be a darker story, and I'm hoping that, and hope was a word they used a lot in this movie, I'm hoping that that's kind of the idea with the New Hope, is that the Rebel Alliance realizes what they can't do and how they have to behave going forward, and that's what this movie does, is it sets that tone that you have to be the good guy, you have to do the right thing.
Yeah.
And that's why in the original trilogy we don't see that side of them.
I think that's where my issue with the movie is, that it was kind of dark, and it was really dark, and it was lacking in humor.
Oh, see, and I thought there was funny moments. It made me
Only
laugh.
with Kay, and Kay had a few funny lines, that not all of them, but
I knew I liked him.
That's only where then there was a little bit with C-3PO and R2-D2, and that was very brief. But for the most part, there really wasn't a lot of. I don't know. It's like, it's not fun. I think that's what's missing in this movie. is that whereas Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, it had a lot of fun. And it was a fun adventure with humor, and, yeah, The Empire Strikes Back had its dark moments, but it wasn't overall dark.
Mm-hmm.
But Rogue One is, I don't know, it's just so bleak. And I guess that's what they're pointing out when they kept saying they're holding out for hope. There's the hope because everything is so bleak because the Empire just created the Death Star. But I think that may be why I have an issue with the movie, is that may be why it was putting me to sleep, because it wasn't that fun.
Yeah,
it was.
I would say I enjoyed the movie. I agree. I don't know that I would say it's a fun movie like the others.
Yeah.
I think it lended itself more to being saga-esque than even the original stuff does, because of the fact that it tells a richer story other than just a fun adventure. There is, and if I'm right, and if we are telling the story of how basically it's not just about her, but it's more about how the Rebel Alliance finds hope, how they find their place and their role and responsibility, then it feels like that's saga. I mean, now you're talking not about an individual's story arc, but an entire society. And so that to me was fascinating. And it came together, like I said, at the end, when I felt like that's where they had taken it. I'm hoping that's what they were intending, because otherwise that first part just is very upsetting when you think about the Rebels. So when you talk about KT, or is K2, right? I enjoyed him. And now that when you mentioned that was Alan Tudyk, I was like, I love him. And of course, it's like, now I see why he was so funny.
Yeah.
And it was quite an enjoyable character.
Let's talk about Grand Moff Tarkin.
That was pretty cool.
It was pretty amazing to see Grand Moff Tarkin, Peter Cushing's Grand Moff Tarkin, in this movie. And it's cool, but also kind of disturbing.
Because of how CG it is?
It's disturbing in that Peter Cushing is dead. But he's brought back from the dead to reprise a role. I don't know. There's something disturbing about that, I mean, that's going to start being a thing.
If it is, as long as they do a good job with it. I had a little problem with the execution. I kind of felt like they made him too old, so he looked older than I think he looked in the original trilogy. And so that was a bit of a problem. If they had done a little bit better job on that. I mean, when they did Princess Leia, that was like perfect.
I think they did as good a job as they could, but I still can't get over the fact that it still looked CG.
It was definitely...
Unfortunately, we still haven't... The advancement in computer animation still has not advanced to such a point that you can just say, wow, that looks like a human, looks real. No, it still has its flaws. We've come a long way. Yes, it's so much better, but it still has its flaws.
It was interesting where obviously James Earl Jones pretty much still sounds the same, but he sounds the same because he was being put through a filter anyway. Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher, couldn't be put through a filter, and so they obviously limited her dialogue to words that she had already said in the original movie.
Yeah. I also thought it was fascinating that they included some of the X-Wing pilots from Star Wars in the final battle.
And that's something that I did not notice.
It was pretty cool, yeah.
I'm not the level of fan that you are.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty... Yeah, there was a lot of Easter eggs, I guess you could say.
For the true fans?
For the true fans, because it was... I mean, they had the Walrus Man character from the Cantina.
Oh yeah, I did recognize that.
Yeah, the Walrus Man and the other guy
yeah.
from the Cantina, so that was pretty cool. and then there was a Death Star droid. There was just a lot of connections to Star Wars, so it's pretty cool. Then there was the Blockade Runner. It's really cool. I really liked that we had the Star Destroyer, the Blockade Runner, the Death Star, Yavin, the Rebel base, all this connection to Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
We need to find him.
All right. How many do I need?
They are requesting a call sign.
It's, Rogue. Rogue One.
The power that we are dealing with here is immeasurable.
If the Empire has this kind of power, what chance do we have?
We have hope. Rebellions are built on hope.
They made a huge mistake in this movie, and that is establishing that the Death Star can move in hyperspace.
Well, it would need to.
Okay, but so basically what they did is, they had Grand Moff Tarkin said, let's go, hyperspace. So, and then they show up at the planet, at that one planet, the final planet. It just, boom, right there. So you have to wonder, okay, if they can move the Death Star in hyperspace, why didn't they, in Star Wars, have the Death Star just show up right there in front of the planet Yavin, where the Rebel base was? Instead of going around the moon slowly like this to get to the planet, as they did in Star Wars.
Oh.
See, that's one of the major problems with it. When they did that, I just went, what? Wait, what? Hyperspace? One of the things that was different was there's no title crawl. I don't understand why they did that. Why they didn't have the title crawl.
Since it's not part of the true saga. Which is really stupid because it really is linearly part of the damn saga.
Yeah.
I get that it's not part of the Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi's part in terms of it being their direct story.
Yeah.
But it is literally the lead-in to the movie. The linear lead-in. So, and obviously at this point, Luke and Leia's old enough. So Luke would have to have been old enough.
Yeah. They're the same age.
Yeah. But it's still linearly part of the story. So, yeah, the whole idea that this is a side story other than there not being the lead focus.
Right.
It was fun seeing Jimmy Smits as, what do they call him, Governor Organa?
Oh, did they? And it was sad when he said, I have to go back to Alderaan. Like, oh, we know what's going to happen to Alderaan.
Never to see him again.
Yeah.
You do that so much better.
But overall, the acting was really good. Special effects were great.
Watching Forrest Whitaker die was awesome.
Forrest Whitaker, not our favorite actor, and he, again, hammy and just wasn't very good. Fortunately, he's barely in the movie. But the final battle scene was very exciting. I'll give it that. I really liked the final battle scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I really woke up. I definitely woke up there because I thought it was pretty exciting. And it's very reminiscent of the battle, the Death Star battle in Star Wars. But it was good. I really liked that part.
I really liked the introduction of Darth Vader coming out of the
I think it's the Bacta tank.
Bacta tank.
Yeah, I believe it's the Bacta tank, the same kind of Bacta tank that was used in The Empire Strikes Back for Luke Skywalker.
The way it looked, the way the liquid was coming down, like there was a force field holding it up, not any glass or plastic or something.
No,
just
it's glass.
that.
It's glass.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Okay, because the way they did it, it looked like it was just coming down without anything surrounding it, and I thought that looked really awesome. When the one guy came in, when we're looking at him from behind in just the robe, I'm like, oh, are we getting the Emperor?
Oh, yeah.
And only to be probably some kind of like a sycophant.
But like I said, I thought it was interesting that there was the character who who believed in the Force, but I don't believe he was a Jedi. He wasn't a Jedi. He just believed in the Force.
Well, he was a priest at the temple. That city was originally the temple that made the crystals that the Jedi use, and so he was a priest over those crystals. So of course he believed in the Force, and that was pretty awesome. Going back to the idea of the Force being a spiritual system, not a scientifically explained thing.
Yeah.
They're really hammering it down. We're back to it being a faith-based system.
Yeah.
Magic. It is spectacular. It is supernatural.
Right.
Which is pretty awesome. It was interesting. I'm curious. The Force. The mom looked to me almost like she might have been a hidden Jedi. I mean, just the way they chose to dress her before she got killed, it just made me think of the Jedi robes.
Oh.
And then with her telling her to believe in the Force, and she gave her one of the Kyber crystals. And then, so I'm almost wondering if there is some Jedi in the mom, and then now in the daughter, especially as she's holding the crystal and praying that the password will work. But I still thought that was pretty interesting, her using the Force to convince them to change the code.
That must be part of the movie where I was falling asleep, because I don't remember that at all.
When she's holding it, and she's obviously in prayer.
I don't remember that part at all.
They're coming on the planet that has...
That's why I need to see this movie again, because like I said, I was fighting sleep, so there's some scenes I don't remember, and some points of dialogue.
Yeah, there was one scene where the stormtroopers, there were two stormtroopers walking by, and they said that something is obsolete. And I'm like, okay, is that supposed to be some kind of a reference to the prequel trilogy? Because I couldn't make out what they were saying. So I'm wondering what's obsolete.
Huh.
So I'd like to know what the dialogue was, because I couldn't hear it. And since that's when you told me you were having trouble staying awake, because I asked you, did you hear what they said was obsolete? Because I missed it.
And then there was the attack on, I forget the name of the planet, the beach planet. The AT-ATs were on the planet, and they were easy to destroy. So I kept thinking back to The Empire Strikes Back and how they're saying blasters don't affect the AT-ATs. So
this is an earlier
I guess
incarnation.
it's an earlier model of the AT-ATs, and then
this battle made them learn to re-engineer.
Yeah, they re-engineered them and gave them more better armor, I suppose.
They've no idea we're coming.
Take hold of this moment. The Force is strong. Make 10 men feel like 100.
We'll take the next chance. And the next. You're all rebels, aren't you?
Save the rebellion! Save the dream!
Gary, would you recommend Rogue One, A Star Wars Story?
Yes. On the basis that if I'm right about what they were intending, this actually has more, instead of it just being a fun adventure, it is definitely more of a saga story. It is more, it has a deeper story to it than the other movies. So that was very satisfying. I thought there was enough humor, at least especially with K2, that it did help take away some of the darkness. I'm okay with it being a dark movie. I mean, it's war. War is not pretty. You can't make it pretty. So, yeah, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I'd see it again. So if you want to go see it again, we'll go see it again.
I'm going to say I do recommend it, especially for Star Wars fans. So, if you're a Star Wars fan, go ahead and see the movie and see how they connect this story to the whole Star Wars mythos. I want to see the movie again, and hopefully I will not fall asleep in certain parts.
Maybe I can stay awake more for the first part.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching Star Wars Obsessed. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. I hope that doesn't show up on the actual video.
What?
The way it keeps going darker, lighter, darker, lighter. That's really annoying.